All right. Hi there, Cedar Rapids. How you doing? Tim Nash with Skogman Realty here. I am at Stillwater Coffee Company in Hiawatha, one of the more popular coffee places in the area. I know people always want to meet out here to grab coffee and meet and chat about this and that. But today, I am having coffee with Emily Patel. And Emily is here with a nonprofit that I just recently learned about called Hopeful Mama. And I'm going to let Emily tell us a little bit more about that. I won't get into too much about what Hopeful Mama is. But I'm really thankful that she is here to meet with me today. And I will just say that this is a cause that's near and dear to me and my wife's heart. So I'm glad that Emily has started this nonprofit, and it sounds like they're going great. And Emily, why don't you tell us a little bit about Hopeful Mama and kind of what you guys do?
Sure. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really excited to be here and share more about Hopeful Mama and myself. But I am a nurse by trade. I like to tell people.
Yep.
I knew at age 7 that I wanted to be a mom, and I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. And I always thought that being a mom was going to be a lot easier than being a nurse. But I found the reverse of that. And so I went through school. I became a nurse. I had my BSN, and I spent most of my time in the emergency department. That was my true love, and I did that for a long time until my husband and I met and we started IVF. And so then I took a little bit of time away from that for treatment. But I spent many years at Mercy Medical Center and then a few years at St. Luke's while I was here in Cedar Rapids. But that would be my first love for what I like to give my heart to. My patients and my team, I managed a little bit as well. It just meant a lot to me. But when starting Hopeful Mama, it did help a little bit to have that medical background, just as we launched support groups and educational workshops. Those connections that you have in the medical field really help. So
Yeah.
Hopeful Mama just launched a year ago.
Yeah.
So we're still very new. We're just barely a year old, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But it has grown substantially from when I launched just by myself and a couple board members a year ago. We are up to almost a team of 15 to 20 volunteers across Iowa, across the country, and even outside of the country. We have volunteers in Paris and Mexico, and then down in Tennessee. So it's just been growing faster than I can even keep up.
That's amazing. So now tell us a little bit about the mission of Hopeful Mama, and then why you felt that this was something that was needed in the world, essentially.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the mission of Hopeful Mama is to come alongside women on their infertility journey and help them in 3 different ways. So there are a lot of nonprofits that offer the financial grant side of things, which is always needed. Anybody that is familiar with infertility, has gone through infertility, understands how expensive the cost of treatment is. And so that was a huge part of launching Hopeful Mama. But as I started to get ready to launch, I started to look for resources that I could include with Hopeful Mama. And I was looking for support groups that were local or close by, and I couldn't find any. And I was talking with the board members, and I said, guys, we're missing something here. There's not local options for support for those going through infertility. There's also not a lot of education for women's health and infertility, and also the mental health aspect that is impacted with infertility. So as we started looking and getting ready to launch, I said, you know what? I think we need to add 2 more components to Hopeful Mama to really set our nonprofit up.
So what was the initial component?
The initial component was just going to be grant funding.
Financial?
Just grant funding. Like when I thought about Hopeful Mama years ago, I thought, you know what? I want to be able to give back. I know that many times I was blessed to be able to be in this situation from a financial standpoint, and many people are not in that situation. And so they're taking out loans, or they're selling their cars, or they're borrowing money from their family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to give back. And so the first part of Hopeful Mama was just going to be grant funding. And as we started to really dive into what is Hopeful Mama going to mean and how can we set Hopeful Mama apart, I realized that we were missing the education piece and we were missing the support piece. And so those 2, when we launched in April of 2023, we launched with 3 components: the financial grant, the educational workshops, and then the support.
And so you said you've only been around for like a year.
A little over
A year. So and what I will say is, it sounds like, to me, it sounds like you really found the piece that clicked with the support and the mental health. I mean, the grants are great, but it sounds like the unique piece to it was kind of that support piece. So I guess, what was my question going to be? I had a question. I think it had something to do with, what do you think that was the piece? What do you think it was? Because I've started nonprofits, and I'm on a fledgling nonprofit. We're 5 years old, and I feel like we still aren't quite there yet, And so, like, what do you think was like the thing?
Yeah. So I think honestly, if we had launched with just the funding side of things, I think it would have taken us longer to grow because you can get funding from a lot of different places if you qualify. I do feel like what we found was there was a need and we needed to fill that gap. And the way that we did that was from the support groups and the educational workshops. People who are on an infertility journey, they crave community because it is, as many of you probably know, so lonely. You feel like you are walking this journey alone. You feel like no one understands. If you try to talk to someone who isn't familiar with infertility, you feel like you're talking to a stranger, even if it's maybe your family.
Well, and also even like with you have your partner.
Yeah.
Even if you have your partner, even though and your partner is supportive, you're still, it's like it's happening to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And depending on what aspects of infertility, if it's male factor infertility, that can be extremely difficult for the male partner as well. And so all of those dynamics, nothing was being there to meet them and to support them. So when we launched the support groups initially in June of last year, I think we started out with about 6 or 8 registrations. We're now up to 113 of just our virtual. And then between all of our groups now that we have 3 virtuals now, and then 2 in-persons, 1 in Marion, Iowa, and then 1 in Des Moines.
And what do those groups look like? What happens?
Yeah, in the support groups. Yeah. So what those look like is it's peer-to-peer led. And so I lead the local group here. And we have a Des Moines lead that leads the group in Des Moines. And you come as you are, and we share our story. We talk about where we're at in the journey. Some people are just starting. Some people are in the middle of treatment. Some people have maybe had multiple losses or multiple failed transfers. And so they're trying to navigate the emotions, the mental health aspect. They're navigating the financial. Do we keep going without a guarantee of a baby? And so it's peer-to-peer. So we just kind of talk through all of those things and support each other in that. And then virtual, what's really great about virtual is I lead our virtual group that meets every other Monday, which is still peer-to-peer. But we just recently launched 2 support groups, a donor conception support group and a couple support group that is led by the Wellness Collective. They are local here, a local therapist group here.
Okay.
They have come alongside Hopeful Mama, and they are now leading as therapists, a therapist-led support groups for both of those, which is really great to have a professional leading those.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and those groups, that sounds like, I that really makes sense to me. How I like the peer-to-peer part. It's people going through similar things. That's really nice. Yeah. And so how does the education component fit into that then?
Yeah. So educational workshops we hold quarterly. And so we have different speakers come, guest speakers come and talk about different things. So far we've had Stacey Pollock from the University of Iowa. She is a psychologist there, and she came and talked to us about the mental health aspect. We've also had Shannon Wilson from MWR come and speak to us about how to navigate the emotional landscape that is of infertility. We've also had physicians come and talk about learning about your menstrual cycle, because one part that was specific to my story was I didn't know how my body works. So when I went into menopause when I was 16, I had no idea. My family had no idea. So we really want to make sure that women's health education is also brought in. So by bringing in physicians that can teach us about different things, we've had physical therapists come in and do different, almost like hands-on workshops with us where we're learning different things. So we do those quarterly, and then we have our guest speakers come in and take that on.
Very cool. I love it. There's so many great, I like how I do like how when you started, I feel like a lot of people will start and they've got their mission and they've almost got tunnel vision. They're like, this is what we're going to do. And you looked at the situation and you said, you know what, we need more. And that ultimately was the thing that really probably helped the nonprofit become what it's become now.
Oh my God, I totally agree with you. We launched in Des Moines in June of this year. So within a year, we're already launching in another city.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan for that. It wasn't something that I had, it was maybe my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But within a year, there was a need. I had a volunteer who was on the ground that said, I'm ready to help. Show me what you want me to do. I'm willing to learn. And honestly, that has been growing since June. And I think having an open mind to start to in this, specifically, I would say with infertility, but maybe others, is the need is very fluid. And so if you're so tunnel vision that you can't see without that, I feel like you kind of miss some of the needs that are kind of popping up as you're in support groups or as you're connecting with people. And so I think the board has done a really great job of having an open mind as well to say, okay, yep, this seed arose. It's something we can take on. Let's make sure we add it.
Cool. Great. So now, sounds like you guys have you have an event coming up.
We do, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, here at Stillwater. Remember, it's Stillwater Coffee in Hiawatha. That's where we're at now, and that's where this event's going to be. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so on September 8th, we're going to be back here at Stillwater. It's our second annual.
What are the hours on that?
Yeah, 10 a.m. to noon. And you can come a little early. We usually recommend people coming early because we have those amazing swag bags that went out very quickly out the door last time. We do have more this year, which we're excited about. But yeah, come between 9:30, 10 a.m. It starts. It's called Sip and Shop for Hope.
Sip and Shop.
Sip and Shop. Yep. So basically you come, you grab your favorite drink, and then we have 6 local vendors that are going to be set up on the patio. And you can shop and meet other people and just kind of be in a community setting. And then we also have Dr. Mary Haggerty here, who is a physical therapist that is going to do the educational side for us. So she'll have a table inside and just talking about women's health.
Very cool.
And then what's really great about this event is 10% of the proceeds go back to the foundation that we then use for our fertility financial grant program that will start again in the spring.
Awesome. So fantastic. All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk to us about today? Do you have anything? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. One thing I do want to say is our educational workshops are now able to be streamed live. So if someone wants to come and they can't come in person or out of the state, they can always watch them on our YouTube channel after the fact, or they can watch them live through Zoom now.
Wonderful. And so what I will make sure to do is I'll have this on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'll have it on the YouTube channel, and I'll make sure that those links are in the text below, so that y'all can check that out and click on those and find those items. So
yeah, the only other thing I would say is if you are struggling with infertility or you know someone who's struggling with infertility, we are very active on social media, so it's an easy way to find us, and you can send us a message and we will get in contact with you or them to give them the resources that they need or just get information to them if they need it.
Fantastic. Well, Emily Patel, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Sit down and have coffee with me. Today's coffee with friends, not lunch with friends. But it'll all fall under lunch. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks so much, Cedar Rapids. Emily, appreciate you being here. And check out Hopeful Mama. And September 8th, come to the Sip and Shop and just come check them out. All right. See ya.
I think